Well, the mixed messages coming out of Queensland are extraordinary. First, they backflick over the bail laws. They scrapped them. Now, after sustained pressure from the opposition and the public, they've had to bring them back in. Last week, of course, they relaxed drug possession laws. And today they announced that Queensland will become the first state, the only other place is the ACT, that of course is a territory, to introduce pill testing at music festivals and beyond. Now, call me a cynic, but I reckon this is all about arresting the shift of Labor's young vote to the Greens, regardless of the drug damage it will do to Queenslanders. Joining me now to discuss this, Queensland Opposition leader David Crisafulli. Well, you've got a lot on your hands up there in Queensland. You've got a youth crime crisis. There's talk about lowering the age of criminal responsibility around the country. You can have heroin in your pocket, you can have ice, you can have 3 strikes and you're still in. Only on the 4th you might get charged by police. And now we're going to have pill testing, David Crisafulli, just so then drug dealers can market that their rubbish is so-called safe to use. What do you make of it all?
You nailed it, Peter, and it's all to do with the internal politics. So I'm going to step this out because it's a big deal and it's the culmination of absolute chaos and madness in the governing of Queensland at the moment, where the cabinet is tearing itself apart. Well, firstly, government is about priorities. And at the moment, Queenslanders are just crying out for something when it comes to youth crime. You're right, we've consistently put forward solutions and they've stonewalled and they've spun themselves around. Finally, they agreed to one of our changes, which was breach of bail, but this was a trade-off with the left. And at a time when Queenslanders want action on youth crime, the government's solution was to allow drugs to be more prevalent in society. So that's the first step. The second one is how we got here. We got here because of that capitulation on breach of bail. The left wanted their pound of flesh and they went to the Premier with a ransom note. And part of that involved the testing that you're talking about. And let's have a look at what we've seen in other parts of the country. New South Wales trialled it and then stopped it and said no more. We've had the Labor Premier in South Australia say, no way, not on our watch. Even Labor's Dan Andrews believes this is too radical, and he said, no, not on my watch. So it is an absolute feeding frenzy between the left and the right, and unfortunately, Queenslanders are collateral damage in the middle of a youth crime crisis.
Yeah, we know this stuff is imported from overseas or cooked up by bikie gangs. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know they'll send some, young person into a music festival, get those pills tested, and then the drug dealer out the front will market them as safe because they've been tested by the taxpayer-funded tester inside the joint behind me. I mean, that's what they will do, and it mixes the message for young people.
You got it, Peter. I just want consistency of messaging, and that is that drugs are bad. And we've got to deal with that at all levels of society. But right now I can tell you what Queenslanders are demanding from us, and that is keep our foot to the accelerator and get a solution for youth crime. It's ripping this state apart.
Do you have a $64,000 Christmas party, David Crisafulli?
I'm a little more boring than that, Peter, clearly. Ours is, like James McGrath said, sausage rolls and a little bottle of wine. But, hey, look, you know what's most disappointing is the response we've had from people who, in the middle of a crisis of cost of living, tears them apart.
Got to leave it there. You're not wrong. David Crisafulli, thank you.